But what? Yeah.
And
Like I said, we need to bait more people into
reading
reading
Higurashi. We're live. It's been what?
3.
A month?
This is the 4 weeks. Yeah, a month. Maybe?
Almost a month. Hey, you want to be real excited? I'm going out of town next week.
Yeah, I fucking hate you. Fucking little fucking asshole.
I think I'm out of town the week after that too. I have like a. We're on the second save, right?
On the second save. So
Okay.
yeah,
You're-
we got at least
Your
maybe
mouse guy.
3 sessions left.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Yeah, I'm out of town next week, and the week after.
Well, really? This is
Oh
all tips.
my fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought those were new tips. I was like, oh my fucking god.
No, we've already.
Yeah, I was gonna have a fucking stroke. Okay. So just to double check, I'm not stupid, right? We are. I almost said Crab Ragoon. He got the red bean, and I know I talked about this the other day about making sure. He got the red bean things. They were like, hey, figure out which is which. And then Mion went crazy and stupid on him, and Rena. And then he found the needle. It's not a razor blade, it's a needle.
You found a needle. Yeah.
Yeah. Would that kill you? That probably kill
If
you.
you swallowed it, sure.
Okay.
Like going through your intestinal, going down your throat, going through your intestines. Yeah, that might be good.
Ow. Okay. So
I mean,
that's right.
it's not like a chip. It just can be. Yeah.
Thank you, Tyler. I would have never guessed.
You know, I say half of the thoughts that are going on in my head. And they end up just not making any sense. So,
No,
you know.
it made sense. All right. Oh yeah, I have to read. Oh, gotta flex the vocals. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. I said the thing right. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued on. Oh my, am I stupid? I continued on with my restless slumber. Fuck you. I was very much.
I'm sorry.
Do I need to kick you out?
Just fucking read.
I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door. It was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came into my room right now, then... He's dead. Thank God. Oh.
Eek.
I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door.
Whoa. Nope.
Oh.
Fuck, what was her voice? It was Shaggy, that's
Shaggy,
what it was.
yeah.
Whoa, Keiichi!
Perfect.
Why does it matter?
Perfect. Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up, and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well.
Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Can you make it at school?
I was well enough to go, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? Or what if it had pierced my tongue? It's a free tongue piercing, dude. That was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I didn't think that was all. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. Flash forward to when they try and hit him with the car. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rina and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time we'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this.
Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine?
Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill.
It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get on up. They say wellness is a state of mind.
His mom is based. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone.
Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Rena-chan comes to get you.
Monka. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day.
By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi?
I forgot about that. Tyler.
You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry.
I didn't feel practically guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday. Do I do the Mion voice? I'll do the Mion voice. I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. It came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying,
Shit. I didn't know.
nice.
It's fine.
Stupid. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go on about living my life as if nothing ever happened. Do some extra words in there. If I showed any sign of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. For example, maybe I shouldn't pay attention to someone like Oishi-san enticing me with something unusual. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up flagging myself as someone who was not wanted. And it seemed that that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep living on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I had just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forgot about everything and kept living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven. She's definitely his mom.
Keiichi, your food is gonna get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Rena will be here if you don't hurry.
I'm coming. I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head out to school by then. I had to forget everything that had happened in the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today, of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. Bing bong. I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along.
Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry.
My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. He, doesn't tell his parents any of this. Fucking Keiichi, man. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side, was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Hello, Rena.
Morning.
He actually kind of hit it first try. Let's go. An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. English is hard, man.
I came since Keiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today? I wonder.
The manner in which Rena was concerned was without a doubt the Rena I knew. But that was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday. Pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that had happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their deaths, and the terminal illness, and suicide, and the lynching, and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Rena and Mion were scary. Of course. Forget it all. Doesn't mention Tomatake Flash. Forget about everyone. Forget about the mochi, too. Forget. Rena once again asked to make sure.
Can you make it to school?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Then let's go. Mi-chan is waiting.
Monka, dude. Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, thank you. Giving way to relief. Damn.
Yeah.
Fucking ouch.
But you see, Sadako-chan was so insistent she couldn't do it.
As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Then?
Sadako-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. Oh, she was so cute.
Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors and they called out to us.
I guess I'll do that.
I could take over if you would like me to.
It's just an old person, doesn't matter. Flip a coin. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna flip an actual coin. Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead.
Uh-oh. Did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? We need to hurry up, Keiichi-kun.
As we smiled and parted ways with our neighbor, they turned back towards me and stuck out a tongue. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile.
Keiichi-kun smiled.
Huh? What? Rena stopped and stared at me.
I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine.
With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Mayabara. How can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious? I really hope that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, there's only one thing that I'd wish for. I would want what happened in the past few days, more specifically from the night of the Watanagashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to never happen. I wonder how many times I'd wished for this these past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling.
So, Keiichi-kun, those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all?
There it is. That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Of course, she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that.
Keiichi-kun?
I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Mayabara. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. God. But both my throat and mouth had gone dry, and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly.
Did?
Rena playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Keiichi chokes so hard. Like, I don't know how he chokes this fucking hard, dude. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seemed that there wasn't as long of a pause as I had thought. Somehow, I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious! I fucking hate Keiichi, dude. However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well.
I see.
Here it is.
So did you eat all of them, I wonder? I wonder.
My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it.
Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made?
That homework, was it due today?
Yeah, it's due today. Mi-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you.
Me just shoots Keiichi. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena. Lies. I recalled that unexpected, piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Oishi-san told me, didn't he? Oishi-san.
You want me to speak?
You can.
Fuck, Rush.
You're gonna have to do it at some point. We're reading fucking 3 chapters. Oishi's gonna be in one of them.
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryuko-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows.
Rena Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows, all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school, breaking the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk, wind up. Walk, wind up. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible, because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant, piercing sound of shattered glass. The crunching noise as Rena treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forgot to even breathe. I wondered what they did as Rena came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room after being directed there by teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight, of Rena busting window after window, undoubtedly, all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It was far too violent an act for them to seek refuge by looking the other way. That's not to say they were looking the other way. They were doing the only thing they could to protect themselves. If they had done something different from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. I would, be the next window. Rena staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Then Rena struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down onto the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hits me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. It's because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant as a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody saved me. Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out? But of course, everyone in the class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there would be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san told me.
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that.
What does?
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. Shiro. It seemed that Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her. That was Oishi, but whatever. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture, but it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then, what Rena did. Was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happen because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Oishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena? Was everyone? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. It wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew this was all backwards. Refusing to believe that there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice, accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists? Or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths? I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning to my own convenience, regardless of my opponent being a human or a curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in. For no good reason at all. Keiichi? Based.
Keiichi-kun? You've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder?
Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I had realized it, we were already at the entrance. I can't believe this dude just blacked the fuck out between leaving his house and getting to school and just monologued.
Yep.
I like to imagine Rena was talking to him the whole time and he's just blank slate, not even fucking replying to her, and she's just like, cool.
Yep.
Shaking my head a few times, I exercised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Rena could have done such terrible things. I like how all of his friends are schizophrenic. It was like I was trying to placate myself? Yeah. Oh, I hit a button. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. Rat. Oh, befitting for the truant, Keiichi-san.
Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Sadako.
Star.
Chan, Rika-chan.
Not quite in the mood for it. I didn't really react to Sadako's trap. Sadako braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. What is this? How discouraging indeed.
Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him today, okay? Okay?
Suddenly there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit.
Mion. Hey, Kei-chan. Did you get enough rest?
That's how I do it. It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from yesterday. Yeah, morning.
What's with the unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you?
Because I ate them, I'm like this. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over.
Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Rena's?
I can't believe you forget your homework, Keiichi-kun.
Sheesh. Then we can't help it. Time for your penalty.
Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchange that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That's why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maebara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began.
So, what do you think about Keiichi's little trip there?
I want him, since I remember this chapter, I remember the start of this chapter a bit more. I just want him to Chad Thundercock it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like how he was like, I thought about telling Mion, the reason I'm like this is because of the mochi. Just send it, bud. Just Chad Thundercock it.
Okay.
What are they gonna do, kill you in class?
Okay.
And if they do, if they kill you in class, your parents are gonna hear about it. What are they gonna do, kill your parents? Alright, well they kill your parents, Oishi's gonna figure it out. There's no downside. I mean, yeah, there's no downside at all. You might die, but like, who cares? Oishi figures out the mystery, the world goes on, right? I don't know, he simultaneously is absolute Chad and a fucking little baby boy virgin.
Treat your friends like shit after they bring you mochi and shit, you know?
Yeah, of course. Fuck them.
And you feel a needle?
Fuck them kids. Bro, he pulled it out.
They never can find. No, he dug around for it, but he
pulls it out.
Yeah, he pulled it out. He looked at it and then and then he couldn't find it again.
Yeah, which was stupid. I told you I would every decision Keiichi makes. I'm just like, why are you doing that? This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. Yeah, no fucking shit, dude. No. calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me. They were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi... Hojo? It's just Hojo?
Yeah, Hojo.
That's a good-ass last name. Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using the seat until last year, when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. With all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Rena and the rest of them? Were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maebara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Rena just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Rena was standing outside our door eavesdropping for a good hour, you know. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Oishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did to her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. Why does he choke so much? He chokes so much. Keiichi chokes so goddamn hard. He's like choking on dicks every fucking minute of the day. Every minute of the day. He's choking all the time. It's insane. I don't understand how you can choke this hard all the time. It's fucking absurd. Cut it out, Keiichi Maebara. Don't you realize they're out to kill you? No. I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else had heard it. No fucking shit, Keiichi. My little...
Soliloquy?
Mm-hmm. Ugh, tongue tie. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right? shut the fuck up, dude. Just stop talking. You're too soft, Keiichi. This time, I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. I hate him. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Yashiro-san when...
Oh, Yashiro-san?
Oh, Yashiro-san? Yeah, the demon? Yeah. Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected.
Like Yashiro-sama wouldn't appreciate being called a demon.
Fuck him. Fuck them kids. He can suck a fart out of my ass. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so no one had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bells signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I probably would have happily jumped into that circle. So what? No one heard him? He just blacked out during class?
I guess.
Fucking Keiichi did.
My, Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving.
The way Sadako spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt.
Huh? Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day? I wonder. And we were gonna win big together. How?
Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi. Maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me.
Slap!
Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face.
Keiichi-kun!
He's stupid! Yeah, was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me if it was a hoax.
It's a hoax, Keiichi.
I didn't care if it was actually one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Gugh. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive?
Are you all right? Does your head hurt?
Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena.
You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home. I wonder.
No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah?
Nothing.
Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were even going to play that deduction game from before, too.
Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch? How pathetic.
I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed... Yep, retort. I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head.
Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate.
It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. Why you gotta call it that, bro?
Because it's just small. Petite means small.
I know it means small. It's just weird.
It's not weird.
She's got small hands. She's like 8 years old. Everyone knows that.
It's called vocabulary, dumbass.
Fuck your vocabulary. You think I've ever used a thesaurus? Get
No,
the fuck
I
out of
don't.
here. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everybody. See you. Just bye. That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind, took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Mayabara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. See, alright, if you think they're trying to kill you, right, you would want to participate more in club activities. Because you would give them less of a chance to coordinate, right?
Yeah.
Unless they're just out and open about it. But then, if they're out and open about it, other people hear and you can strike, right? But it's like, you don't let them collaborate together. You sit there and you exist as a blockage between communicating about what's going to happen. Because the club meeting before was going to be made some, like, dumb bullshit, right? About, like, oh, how's the weather today? Did you watch the sports game last night?
They were going to play Clue again.
Yeah, and they were going to play Clue. You know what that meeting is now? Hey, what van should we hit Keiichi with next week?
Maybe if you're going by Keiichi's logic, yeah, sure.
Bro, you're trying to tell me that that's just going to be a normal... They put a fucking sewing needle in his food and, like, I'm trying to kill him and you're going to tell me that's going to be what happens? Is they're just going to be like, how was the weather today, Janet? It was lovely, Bob. Thank you very much. No. They're like, what black market dealer do we go to get snake venom to pour in Keiichi's eyes while he's asleep?
Okay.
That's what's happening, bro. You're giving him too much time to coordinate. Blah, 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 watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because weren't they my friends? Hey, yo, fuck them kids. Part of me lamented my naivety. While another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. It felt like my conscience was being ripped out of my body. If this is what Oyashiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believed in it now. Completely. Your curse does exist. So seriously, give me a break. I beg you. Come on. Oh, I guess I just had to hit the button. Dinner was unusually bland. I feel like dinner has always been this bland, but he's not realizing it until now.
Or he's just in a state of mind where everything's bland.
Everything's bland? Yeah. Fucking fuck you. His mom's cooking sucks. What are you gonna do?
Maybe he's just like not...
Nope, she's a bad terrible chef. Awful.
What?
Would never survive on Iron Chef. Be eliminated immediately. It had no flavor or aroma. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water.
So maybe it's just him, and no matter what she cooks, he's just not gonna taste anything?
That'd be crazy, Tyler. I could never believe that.
According to Keiichi,
Yeah,
Mayabana himself.
She's making sock water tonight. She's straining the miso through a sock. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he had just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump. Who is this?
Who is his dad?
I can be his dad.
Yeah, I think you're the dad.
How are we gonna do his...
Yes, quite. It's kind of like a more snobbish Mion.
He is an artist.
So yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have.
Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it?
I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching. But when it gets in the way of business...
I would kill myself if I had to live in that house alone. But I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation. But I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends. But I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted. People I could depend on when push came to shove. They were something I just didn't have. He has Oishi, bro. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the current currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Yeah, you should fucking do that. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents, Oishi. But if I told them everything that had happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for example. That neighborly Rena who was so diligent in looking after me came to get me every day, and sometimes brought over a share of what she made? How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye.
Probably where she'd go.
Yeah, honestly. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No. By informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in the past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Mayabara family to have an accident or just to vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim? That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant that the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. As long as my parents were here, this house would be a safe haven for them. I knew that these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe, it was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oishi-san. No question it was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. This is going to be important for the future, I'm assuming. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for a dire situation or something. I just have to hide out there until Oishi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah, it probably would be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. He gets like the assassin blades.
Jesus.
Typically, that would call for a switchblade. There it is. But that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. Oh yeah, this is when we get Bat Keiichi. I remembered there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance.
You're just gonna take out a fucking insurance with that. Progressive.
Start a fucking...
Life insurance.
Yeah. It could be something like a note or a memo. I could write down everything that happened as sort of a journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal will be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san should be able to avenge my death. That's what I'm saying, bro. Play for you to die and for Oishi-san to be able to clutch it out.
Yeah, but he dies.
I mean, shit, bro. Sometimes you're just gonna die. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. Nah, I'm playing this out like I'm dead regardless, but I'm gonna hope that I don't die. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal. Journal? A journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Mayabara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wearily at myself for writing... Riley. Yep. At myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading
This enigmatic
passage?
Enigmatic.
I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for was... brain no work. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal was never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write any more than that. If I'd wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point.
I think you're already a bit too far gone there, Kate.
I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, then there was the risk of no one finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note to the back of it with scotch tape. Name drop? Scotch tape? After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Yeah, it didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and I made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. Keiichi. I'd never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. Think this is his dad or his mom?
I don't know. What is it, Keiichi?
I have a favor to ask of you. Please listen. Just in case, yeah?
If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy are having something urgent they're talking about.
I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I...
Keep reading. Pull yourself together and keep reading.
If I die, both of my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. if I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both of my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class, and I really like it. So please. Mom or Dad?
What's the matter, Keiichi? Is something happened?
Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze.
Damn, I got that.
Let's fucking go, dude. Of course. This was a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. That's it? You just
If
two
I die,
fingers and
put
dip.
my clock in my coffin.
And then you just two fingers dip and go, alright guys, I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night.
What?
Saying only that, I left the living room. What a fucking maniac. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. So, call Oishi. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anyone. Call Oishi. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. I hate Keiichi.
Chapter in.
Why doesn't he call Oishi? That's all you gotta do, bro. Just give him a ring. Give him a little buzz on the phone. That's all you gotta do.
This man don't know shit.
Give a little buzz. You want to read the tip and then we can take 5? Or you want to take 5 and then read the tip?
Read the tip real quick.
Okay, then I get to sit back.
I should just leave it. Keiichi-kun's been feeling down lately. Maybe he's in a bad mood.
Yeah, I wonder why. Oh shit, I'm needed in this tip. That's right, I voice a character in the school. I wonder.
Hey, this is the club meeting, by the way.
Is it?
I can safely assume.
Fuck you. Oh, I clicked. Maybe he's on his period.
Me-chan, that's gross. Yucking.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Could be the Kei-chan. Maybe?
I don't know.
That day, Kei-chan was in the car talking to some tubby middle-aged guy, right?
Yeah, no mistake.
That Oishi, he probably fed him something fishy.
He was so serious. Keiichi-kun's face was so pale.
You see, you might not know this, but he's actually the messenger of Oishiro-sama.
You're fucking maniacs. You people are maniacs.
What do you mean?
Whenever he shows up, someone is demoned away. No lie.
Oh? Is that so?
The year before last, when Rika-chan's mom drowned, right? Right before that, she was visited by Oishi.
Now that you mention it, it happened happened before Satoshi-kun transferred out.
Transferred? You're so sweet, Rita.
So this time he's appeared before Keiichi-kun. So Keiichi-kun's gonna be demoned away too?
An empty silence hung in the air. And then it was suddenly interrupted. By loud laughter. Yeah, I told you. It's still like what I said at the start of the game.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
What?
Let's see. I'm just excited for getting past where we were.
Yeah, we're getting there. We'll be past it by the end of today. Because we'll read 11, then we'll read 12.
This is so end of chapter 10. Yeah, shit. We're
Yeah.
gonna read 11 and 12.
Then 12. So we will
Let's
be past.
fucking go.
Yeah, I noticed
I'm so
that
fucking
earlier.
happy.